Wang Yip.
Shawn Kanungo.
So this is episode 7 of The Dip.
Shawn, I want to try something new this time.
Okay.
I'm going to think of a question, and I'm just going to telepathically ask you the question, and you're just going to say the first answer that comes to your mind, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to think of the question. Okay. What is your answer?
I love tacos. That was your question, right?
That was close.
What was the question?
What is the dip?
What is the dip? Oh, okay. Well, let me describe what The Dip is. The Dip is a podcast that is all about innovation, disruption, predictions. It's about what's happening, what the future of technology, media, in like different industries are going to be. But it's also an exploration of two amazing human beings, Wang Yip and Shawn Kanungo, and exploring our minds, our lives, what takes us. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, see, I'm interested in your life because, you know, we've learned a lot about... Who is that? No, answer that. Who is that? Who is
It's
that?
FedEx.
Go on speaker.
Hello? Yes. Hi, Wang speaking.
Hi, this is his podcast partner as well, Shawn.
Hi, so I'm calling from FedEx, and
Okay.
I just want to confirm what packages did you receive, because we don't know what's missing.
I haven't received any packages because...
Oh, you haven't received? Okay.
No, yeah. I think there's 3 packages.
Yeah, there is 3, but I think two have arrived here on Monday.
Okay.
But there's the main package, like the one with the master tracking number. Oh, we don't know where it is.
Master cracking number?
Tracking number. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So...
we're trying to figure out where it is.
Okay. Like, is there something that I can do on my part? Like, can I contact the shipper, or...
We
like
did contact the shipper,
Okay.
and they were saying, like, they described what's in the box,
Yeah.
but we don't know which one's missing.
Okay.
I'll contact the airport location and see what we can do.
Okay.
I'll call back again.
Sorry. I just want to understand what's actually in the box.
What's in the box?
Correct.
Are you the consignee?
I'm with the consignee right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my friend. He's here.
I'm just curious.
He's just curious what's in the box.
It just says desktop something, I don't know. Wang, you should be knowing, right? It's your box?
Yeah, I do know. I guess he wants to know from you. But anyway, yeah, I appreciate the message. Do you have any other questions?
No, I have no other questions.
Okay.
It was very nice talking to you. You're featured on The Dip here.
Okay, so I'll call back once I have more information.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much.
You know what? I think she really liked me. I think she was really vibing with me. Now, what in the world are you procuring? Is this from Amazon?
No, it's from Indiegogo. Have you heard of Indiegogo? It's like Kickstarter.
Yeah, of course.
I bought a standing desk for myself.
Now, is this a standing desk at home or
At home, yes.
At work?
At home, yeah.
Now, why in the world would you want to stand?
Well, I think I've heard a lot of benefits about standing. And I've heard a lot of really detrimental health effects from sitting for very long periods of time. And I already sit at work for like 8 hours a day.
Right.
So when I get home, I'm just sitting there in front of my computer again for a couple hours every day, either working on podcasts like this or, you know, writing or something like that. And I think it's very damaging to my body. So I want a standing desk.
Right. And so your goal is you want to be healthier, you want...
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So, fascinating. So what else is in there in the box?
Well, it's 3 pieces. So if you imagine what a table is, it's a standing desk, but it's an adjustable standing desk.
Right.
So there's an electronic component. I think there's a motor of some sort as well. So that's probably another
What is happening in your world, my man? You are getting a standing desk. You're just ordering stuff like crazy.
Yeah, I'm spending a lot of money, and it's actually not that good.
Now, tell me, what are you consumed with nowadays, like in your life? Like, what are you really into, like this week or the last couple of weeks? Like, what has been consuming your life? I want to get into the yip.
Consuming my life as in what am I working on or what am I interested in? Or
what are you working on? What are you interested in? What's like occupying your mind space?
Well, right now I'm trying to figure out a couple things, and they're all related. The first thing that I'm thinking about, I had a talk with someone that I consider my mentor, although we haven't really officially done that kind of relationship. It's Jeff Gunther. I was trying to get him onto the podcast, and he is this real estate mogul. Okay. He owns this property management company, and is doing amazing things. We were talking, and he asked me what my goals were. And I have really lofty, wishy-washy goals. Nothing, people say that you're supposed to have SMART goals, specific, measurable, realistic, etc. I didn't have those goals. And I especially didn't have those goals towards what I consider to be my ultimate goal, which is to become completely free of working from anyone and having a passive income business of some sort. But I didn't have any goals. So I couldn't say to him, I want to sell $1,000 worth of books every single month. Or I want to do...
So he challenged you to come up with goals.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so lately I've been thinking about those goals, and I've been thinking about what I want to do. I haven't come up with those specific goals yet, but I've just been slowly chugging away. I'm just about to finish my 5th book, trying to finish that. I'm starting another Udemy course on public speaking, so that'll be another avenue.
Wow.
Yeah, so those are the kind of things that are occupying my mind. I'm just thinking about different ideas for the podcast, for my books, for my Udemy courses, and trying to figure out what do I do next.
Wow. Well, that's amazing.
How about yourself, Shawn?
You know what? Like this week has been, or the last couple of weeks, I've been doing a bunch of different like speaking engagements.
Yes.
On innovation, disruption.
I heard you did a future of transportation. I think.
I did a future of transportation, and no, it was just the future of government
or in transportation.
Yeah, we're in Lebanon tomorrow.
Okay.
To talk I'm going to the Middle East to talk about the future of government as well. But awesome. I also did a presentation on Bo Jackson and how Bo Jackson is an anomaly and what secrets of being an anomaly are. So what I do is I parallel Bo Jackson with anomalies and I talk about anomalies that are today in organizations, and I talk about Bo Jackson, go back and forth. I've seemed to build this style where I talk about somebody who's like a superstar,
doing something crazy
or cool, and then I relate it to business.
Yeah.
I don't know why. This is how my mind works.
Why Bo Jackson?
You know what? Bo Jackson is a mythological creature. Like I was trying to think of an anomaly because what happened was I was at my mom's place and I was clearing. She's moving. She's been living in the same place for 25 years. And she was moving, and I found my report on Bo Jackson, and the first line of that report was Bo Jackson was an anomaly. And it got me thinking about things like, why is Bo Jackson an anomaly? Like, because I've seen anomaly like so many times, the word anomaly so many times. And so then I wanted to do this presentation on Bo Jackson. Now the presentation was really over everyone's heads because it was directed towards CFOs. I actually also did it for university students. Anyways, Bo Jackson is incredible. He's a beast. He never worked out. He never won a championship. He never was the MVP. Yet he's regarded as the greatest athlete of all time. Now, that is what floored me, and that's why I want to explore the life of Bo Jackson. Now, what are we talking about here? I thought we were talking about retail.
I don't know what we're talking about. We're trying to catch up, I think. It's been a while since we've done our podcast.
Absolutely, yeah.
Our listeners want to hear what we have been working on, so...
Yeah. I think everyone is interested about your romantic life. What is the update?
There hasn't been an update.
What is happening? You gotta get out there, man.
I know, but...
sitting in a random room in Manulife Place is not gonna get you...
No.
Any chicks.
No.
This is... So, we need to work on this. I think the next...
I feel like you're lucky because you're already married. You already found that person.
I am lucky. I am. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm much luckier than you are.
Yeah, I agree.
Listen, let's talk about the disruption of retail.
Yes.
I talked to one of my good friends, Kerry.
A women's clothing retailer located in Alberta with stores in Edmonton and Calgary.
And when I talk about retail, I'm talking about fashion retail.
Fashion retail.
And I know I asked you what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of fashion you wear. I would describe myself as not really a fashionista. Like I just shop at H&M, Uniqlo. I asked her about the disruption in retail.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really fascinating. You're seeing companies like Jacob and Mex go out of business.
I think with companies like Jacob and Mex, they were companies that were very middle of the road, and they didn't respond to changes in the marketplace quickly. And as a result, I don't think they were able to stay competitive.
What do you mean middle of the road? Like they targeted like the average...
Okay, middle of the road on two different spectrums. Middle of the road in that the pricing strategy, they weren't super cheap, but they weren't high end either. So pricing strategy somewhere in the middle. And then in terms of like aesthetic style, also somewhere in the middle. I wouldn't say that it was fashion forward.
But at some point they must have been.
At some point I'm sure they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would predict other fashion retailers getting out of the game as well. Mm-hmm. It's a very cutthroat industry.
I can imagine. The first thing that I thought of when you said disruption in retail, and this was probably a while ago, but I thought of Zara.
Yeah.
And I thought of Zara because, and I think you know why as well, their time to market is phenomenal. They see a trend and they can...
Did you
pump out
eavesdrop on our conversation?
No, not at all.
This is exactly what we talked about. We talked about Zara's speed to market, and their supply chain and their inventory and how good they are with that, and how they can they've kind of, because how Kerry described it, it was basically, she said there were seasons that people usually work towards. And but Zara was like, we're just going to ship the latest stuff whatever we want to. Yeah. So that was quite compelling. Yeah.
You look at something like Zara, and Zara was they've got the first mover advantage to do this. Fashion is a very cyclical industry. Yeah. It follows a certain calendar. Zara disrupted that calendar. It challenged that calendar. In traditional women's wear, if you look at like the times of like from the minute that ready to wear was born, ready to wear probably really became big in the 1920s, 1930s. When I say ready to wear, that means like you buy it off the rack.
Right.
It's not made for you.
Right.
Because 100 years ago, clothing was made for you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Or you made it yourself. Like, depending on what class structure you had, because they didn't have these mass factories where you just went to get something that was already made. Like, if you wanted a suit, someone had to make that suit for you. If I wanted a dress, somebody has to make that dress for me, whether it's myself or I hire a tailor to do it. But you're not going to, like... In 1850, like, I'm not going to something and just picking something off the rack. Like, there might be small things that they could do in mass production, like bonnets or whatever, but for the most part, you make your own clothing. And then we're talking, like, Industrial Revolution happens, so on and so forth. Like, things become more accessible. Like, all consumer goods become more accessible. Right. But ready-to-wear really takes off as a viable option for people that can afford clothing, maybe in the 1920s. Because back, like, at that point, you're like... Maybe before that, if there was ready-to-wear, that might have been for the middle class. And still, like, people that were very well-to-do would still have things made for them specifically. Like, milliners would make hats for them or whatever they needed. So maybe, like, 1920s around there, you got ready-to-wear with, like, you know, Coco Chanel being one of the first ones to do something that was, like, really high-end and fashionable, yet you could buy it off the rack.
Right.
Anyway, so you start off in this time, and for whenever ready-to-wear started making a huge splash to 15 years ago, or whenever Zara started taking off, very cyclical. You've got spring, and you've got fall. Those are your two major seasons. In between, you've got smaller seasons. You've got resort, which comes between spring and fall. Right. And then you've got pre-fall, which is between spring and fall. But those two seasons aren't nearly as big. They're more like bridge seasons. Right. To get you between the two major seasons. And
was it Zara's supply chain. They were just able to get the merchandise to the stores in a timely fashion.
So usually, like, if you're a retailer and you're buying different vendors, if I'm buying for fall 2016, I probably would have done my buy by like early, like January, February.
Oh wow!
So you're doing it like 6 months ahead of time.
Okay, because it just takes that long to produce and design and.
Yep, and to get everything all lined up,
right? Okay.
Procured. So that's the traditional method. Then your buy comes in fall. It arrives in August. You've bought it for 6 months. You've bought like enough inventory to last for 6 months, or you've planned it to be like live for 12 weeks, 14 weeks, whatever you planned for it. The thing with Zara is they came in and they're like, you know what, we're going to have like as many deliveries as we want. We don't care about these seasons or the cyclical. Instead of having like pre-buying like 6 months worth of inventory, we're going to deliver like small shots of deliveries throughout the season. So it's always fresh. The store always looks different because they change their floor so many more times than a traditional retailer does. And they keep their quantities small, so when it sells out, it's gone.
Right.
They don't necessarily chase the buy or fill into it again.
Right.
It's gone, which gives it some kind of, like, consumers will think that there's a sense of urgency in buying it, which works for their advantage.
But isn't that risky as well? Because, some of your inventory might you're producing all this, at some point, you're producing all this new design. So on the design front and you're making not as much mass products as like an H&M. Like they'll make the same shirt like a billion times.
Yeah, so they probably have different iterations of the same body. Like, I don't think their actual pattern or their marker or grader changes. And that's like your DNA, like how things fit or cut.
Okay.
Would be like
right, because you can't change that.
You probably wouldn't change that, but you could change the styling of it. And I think the risk would be, are you asking me like, they're missing sales and that they could have had more sales if they had more inventory?
Well, no, they're just because when you're building so much inventory, you have to figure out how to design it. You have to figure out what colors they're going to be. Like, I'm just assuming.
Yeah.
And so it takes a lot of time to do that kind of stuff. And then you have to go to your manufacturers and actually make this shit.
So with Zara, they have small design teams that work directly with their factories, which are not like in a different country. Like I think like, I'm not sure exactly where all their factories are, but I think that most of their factories are like within Europe or Spain or like somewhere close, so that you've reduced your lead time. Yeah. But you also have your design team or your merchandising team working very closely with the people that are producing, so that you guys can come up with concept to floor in a much shorter. Their turnaround time is like 11 days or 12 days or whatever, like something ridiculously short because their teams work so closely together. And then, so instead of having one large factory and one large design team, they have several smaller teams.
What other disruptions are happening in the retail space? I mean, I can think of a few, but I'm just curious what are the things that are happening? Because, I know mobile payments, things like that. Well, shopping online, of course, and delivery. Right. That's all.
Where do you buy your clothes right now?
Honestly, I haven't bought very much clothing recently.
Right.
I think the last thing that I bought was from a tailor. There's a tailor that travels all around.
Right. Hong Kong tailor?
Well, it's not Hong Kong tailor. It's Maxwell Tailors. Okay. Similar, though. And I bought a suit from them and 3 shirts. And that's really what I wear every single day. So I thought I'd buy something that would fit me and that would last a long time.
See, the thing that interests me is that when I watch people in the stores, and everyone talks about all this disruption that's happening in retail. What was that? Anyways, they talk about mobile, digital, web. They talk about mobile POS, which is instead of going to the till, you can buy. There's all this disruption happening. At the end of the day, if you actually watch people in the stores, they're picking up clothes. They're dropping them, they're picking them back up, they're dropping them, they're perusing, they're going back and forth. Like, there's something so human.
Yeah, I think there's always that first-person sensory experience. Like, at that point, you're looking at shopping as an enjoyable pastime. You want to feel things, you want to touch them, you want to try them on. You can buy stuff online, try it on, and return it. But sometimes you just want to browse a store, and you've got entire teams of people that merchandise stores beautifully just so that you can enjoy the experience. So I think when people go into the stores, they're feeling that experience. They're feeling like, oh, this is great lighting. Look at the way they've displayed this, or look how they've arranged that outfit. I would have never done that. Or here's a pair of shoes that online looked not very nice, but when I try them on, they look great on me.
Right.
So you're getting a different experience firsthand than online. In addition to that, at a certain point, if you're in a high quality store, you're going to get a high quality sales associate.
Right.
And that can make a world of difference.
I don't even know if the human is the word, but clothing is so just tactile. It's so personal. And so you have to touch it at some point. You have to feel it. This idea that, listen, online commerce is massive. I haven't talked to everybody, but I doubt that people are simply making their purchases off online. Of course, unless they know their sizes and whatnot, and they found one retailer that gives them all the.
But aren't retailers trying to address that concern through free returns? The convenience of getting something shipped to you so that you could wear it at home without the embarrassment of parading in front of other people in the store.
But if you go to a store, for example, I'll go to Express, and I'll go through the entire store, and I won't find anything that I like.
Okay.
And I probably peruse through, hundreds of different articles. How the hell is that possible? Are you saying that there's nothing in Express that I can buy? So in the online model, the way that it doesn't work is because you can't get shipped 100 pieces of clothing. I don't want to get shipped 100 pieces of clothing because I got to send the shit back. I got to put it back in a box and send it back. I don't want to do that.
But isn't it easier to search online for what you want?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that you have to feel the clothing. What I'm saying is that clothing will never, and I am stating this, and maybe in 10 years somebody will go back to this podcast and be like, Shawn was an idiot. But what I'm going to say is that never ever will clothing only be sold online. Impossible. Clothing will always be something personal that you have to touch.
I don't know. I think I disagree. I think at some point something will happen. I don't know what will happen, but we'll get to a point. I was discussing this with Adrian. So credit for him for...
Who is Adrian?
Adrian Milksari, former manager at Deloitte.
Okay. Thanks for the context.
I'll cut that out.
Listeners.
So I was talking to Adrian about this retail, because I mentioned that you were doing this interview, and he and I both discussed the future. And I know we're sort of getting off topic, we're jumping ahead, but I think these retail stores, these fashion stores, will just become like a factory. Kind of like just how Amazon is.
What do you mean?
So it'll just be a place where you can pick up clothing, or it'll ship the clothing from that store to your home. I don't think people will walk to malls anymore.
No, see, that's where you're wrong.
I don't think so.
People will always go to a destination. I think what you're missing here is that shopping is not just about the clothing. Shopping is about the experience of the clothing. And this is what Kerry talked about, is that stores have designed, their stores so that they provide amazing experiences. So maybe you might not buy something at Holt Renfrew.
Yeah.
But the experience of walking in, of seeing the clothes, of seeing I don't know, people like that feeling. And so so shopping malls will, I don't know to what extent, but people will always go to shop. It's human nature. We need shit to do. So we need to go and go and do stuff and buy stuff.
Okay, let me ask you this. What about...
It's like movies. So this idea...
If I could get a movie directly to my computer without having to wait in line or buy tickets and purchase it at a cheaper price, I would do that.
No, you wouldn't, Wang.
Why not?
No, you wouldn't. Because...
I hate people. I'm misanthropic.
No. How do you know I'm misanthropic?
Yeah.
Okay, does that mean
you just hate people?
Oh, really? No. Movies, or some form of movies will always exist. That's what you think. Because, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when we talked about movies, the movie's going to die. They're all going to be all at your fingertips. You're going to get a home theater at home.
Yeah.
You're going to watch it at home.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. People still go to movies because they want to be surrounded by other people. They want to have that experience. They want to go out. They want to eat popcorn. They want to, they want to go out. Movies will exist, or some sort of level of experience will exist. You're discounting the experience factor, Wang. People still want experiences. We're human beings. At the end of the day, we just don't want everything on our fingertips. We don't. We want to go out. We want to do shit.
Okay. Maybe.
Maybe you don't.
Wow.
But I'm saying that people
I think there's enough people that don't want to do that. I think there's people that don't like shopping.
I agree.
At the malls.
Listen, I don't like shopping at the malls either.
Yeah.
But at some point,
I'd rather shop online.
But you can't, you won't, the selection out there, like, no one's going to send you.
Isn't there more selection online?
No, there is more selection.
I don't understand.
No, there is more selection.
Yeah, okay.
Of course there's more selection. But for you to actually pick up the clothing.
Yes.
And then,
but why can't I do
wear
that at
it
home?
and fit? It's all fit. Fit is so important.
But I can just do that at home, though.
You can, but then it's annoying because you're going to wear this stuff and then you're not going to like it. And you're put it in the box and you go to the postal office and then ship it back.
Yeah.
How much time does that take? It's more effort.
Why is that more time than going to the mall, finding a parking spot, perusing the stores, and then going back to your car and then going home? Because I don't understand. That's
because you're discounting how many times. Have you ever worked in retail, my friend?
No, I haven't. Have you worked in retail?
I worked in retail 20 years ago. I worked in retail. I worked in this place called, it's defunct now, but it was called Athlete's World.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, it's like a Foot Locker.
I know, yeah.
Okay.
I know Athlete's World.
And what people do when they shop,
yes,
through my own experience, is that they get a whole bunch of clothing, they get a whole bunch of shit, they go into the locker rooms, and then they try it on, and they don't like stuff, and then they leave. They'll try on, I've seen people try on 10 different pairs of pants or 10 different pairs of shirts, they don't like it.
Okay.
So tell me this, if you are at home, do you really want to try on 10 different shirts and then repackage them, put them in the box, and then go to your postal office and then ship it? You're not going to do that. There's no way you're gonna refold.
Like me personally, or you think people in general won't?
People in general. Okay. Would you do that?
Why not?
You're gonna fold 10 shirts back.
Okay,
You were gonna do the folding? You are crazy.
Let me propose you some other business ideas that are in the market right now. Okay. Have you ever heard of Trunk Club and?
Absolutely.
Why do those businesses exist? It's because people want the convenience of online shopping.
Yeah.
They want to try stuff at home. And then there's free returns. They can return anything they don't like. It's convenient. It's easy.
Right.
And these businesses, I don't know if their revenues are growing, but I keep on hearing these new businesses coming up.
Yeah.
And it's targeted towards men, I guess. Maybe there's something around that with women.
With women, so
women want that experience, maybe.
Well, what Kerry brought up is that you're seeing models like Rent the Runway, where you can rent clothing. It's like the sharing economy. So you rent a dress.
Yeah.
There's I think, I don't remember the other one. There's another one. There's La Tote, which is another similar one. And then there's one where you can rent handbags. But I can't remember what it's called. Bag Borrow or Steal or something like that. But maybe that was years ago.
I don't know if I want to wear a suit that somebody else has worn. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you don't have to go on the sharing economy route. If you've got a great idea for some other apparel idea, if you knew that yoga was going to be the biggest thing 20 years ago, and you could develop really nice fitting pants.
Yeah.
There's a niche market that I'm sure nobody knew was going to be huge, but there's room, right?
Right.
Come up with new ideas,
You wear it once.
You rent underwear.
Well, I mean, not underwear.
Okay.
Right.
But would you rent underwear that's worn by Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise or something like that?
I would rent underwear, but no one would want to rent underwear from me.
Yeah, okay.
Because that is just
ludicrous, yes.
It is ludicrous. But these models exist, sharing assets, right?
Yes.
I think that there's a huge market for sharing bags. Sharing
purses.
Yeah. So purses, bags, like
handbags.
Because what I've noticed with women, this is my observation with women, probably, and I feel like I have good observations. Well, I'm married, so I think I have good observations with women.
Well, is this based on your wife, or is this based on other people as well?
Based on what I've seen with other women.
Okay.
I think there's a massive market, $1 billion market, for people who are sharing handbags or purses. Because women will wear like really simple like clothing, like they'll wear a really nice like shirt, and women's clothing is actually relatively cheap. They'll wear something like a nice no-name, maybe a shirt from Aritzia or like some leggings and like really simple, and then they'll have a fucking expensive handbag.
Okay.
There is a market for having sharing really expensive handbags. So imagine you're passing around an MK handbag or like now I'm out of my element, but do you know what I mean? Like Hyatt Coach handbags and like Louis Vuitton. There's a marketplace for that. Sharing handbags.
I think with certain consumers, like I said, it's whatever you put more value on, and sometimes a bag is seen as a status symbol. So maybe you want to put more value in that, or you want to allocate more of your income towards a bag because you feel like that will elevate your status or make you look like that could complete your look or make your look more expensive. Like, excuse me, you might have like a cheaper shirt, but if you have a nicer bag, maybe that offsets that. Like, I think that could be one of the rationales. The other rationale is you probably use a handbag a lot more than you wear the same shirt. So you might want to spend more money on a handbag. I think if you're looking to get the most bang out of your buck, like in terms of what pieces in my wardrobe should I spend money on that like are worth spending money on, it'd have to be outerwear. You wear outerwear all the time, like you're in the winter, especially here. You want to spend good money on a coat because it keeps you warm and you're wearing that coat all the time. You want to spend good money on shoes because comfort, but you're also wearing them all the time, and it's hard to fake good quality pair of shoes.
Right.
Poorly made shoes are very visible.
Right.
So you want to, if you limited income, you want to spend money on good shoes.
Right.
And maybe a handbag because you use it all the time. So you get lots of use out of it.
But I feel like it's not a personal thing. And what you do is you have a bag inside the purse, and then you take it out, and then you can replace the inner bag so that you can put it into other bags.
I don't disagree. I think there is a market. I just question the logistics of that, and who's gonna purchase the bag in the first place? Then
no, we purchase. Yeah, Wang and Shawn will purchase all these bags, all the assets.
Yeah, but I'm not making that much money, Shawn. Are you like loaded?
Well, no, but I'm waiting for your speaking books to pop off. No, but what I'm saying is that you can have an inventory of bags, right?
Right.
You go to the website. What bags do you want today? Listen, I don't know why we're talking about this because the idea
LV bag.
The idea is like 200% probably out there, and they're probably doing this.
Yeah.
And somebody's probably making millions of dollars.
Maybe someone's already doing it.
If not, we should get into this game because there is a huge market for it, in my opinion. But see, the fashion industry, so I talked to Kerry about, okay, for example, Wang.
Yes.
Wang of the Dip. Would you start your own fashion retail company? Go.
I think like you're looking at like barriers to entry, so you're thinking, how am I going to compete against these huge companies? But then you have to realize that there's so many different segments of the consumer market that there's probably room for every great idea.
Right.
You look at something like H&M or Zara. Uniqlo does a great job of what they do too, and they do like mass production, high quality. They don't really change a lot of their styles, so they use the same like the same marker, the same grader, the same machines to use.
Right.
That's why they get their economies of scale.
Yeah.
But the quality's still there. Anyways, I think like there's enough. You look at these and you're like, okay, those are game changers. But there's other ones. There's companies like Rent the Runway.
Yeah.
Why would you buy a dress for $1,000 knowing that most women aren't able to wear a formal dress more than 2 or 3 times because they'll run to the same social circles and they want to wear something fresh. They want to wear something new. So why would I spend $1,000 on a dress to wear it 2 or 3 times when I can spend $50 and rent it?
Would I start it?
Correct. Would you start one?
Yes.
You would.
Yes.
In this market, you would start one.
Yes.
You're crazy.
Why?
Okay, so
if I believe in my brand, then absolutely I would start it.
H&M, you can go to H&M.
Yeah.
And you can get an amazing, or you go to Uniqlo, you can get an amazing shirt for $8. Like an amazing, sick shirt for $8.
Okay.
H&M, I think their biggest competitive advantage is pricing.
But how are they able to prove, like, I'll go to H&M and I will get like a V-neck for $6. It's ridiculous. Like, it's awesome. Like, I'll get it. I'll buy it. Maybe it'll last me 3 months. But it's so cheap. But it's fashion forward. And how do they do that?
But you have to look on the label to see where it was made.
It was probably made in Bangladesh.
And that's probably why.
Well, so then how does somebody compete against that? Like, when a shirt that is actually fashionable is $6, how does somebody actually compete against H&M?
Because you're going to have different consumers that want different things.
Right.
So not all consumers, like some consumers
Agreed. Yeah.
would rather pay more to have a higher quality product. So with your $6 shirt, there's going to have to be some quality corners that were cut. Whether that's through the dye process, I don't know if it's color fast, like when you wash it, will the colors run? The materials, is it cotton? At $6, it's probably not 100% pure cotton. It's probably like a cotton poly blend, some kind of other artificial fabric. Right. Some people don't like to wear fabrics that don't breathe well, and normally your natural fibers breathe better than some of the artificial fibers, unless it's like tech fiber, which in that case, like Under Armour sweat wicking, like that's a different beast. So they can make it cheap because it's probably the labor standards wherever it's made aren't probably very rigorous, but on top of that, there's probably no environmental standards.
Yeah.
Like you could do like cheap dye lots, and I don't know if they're making sure that they dispose of the dye properly or if they're just letting it run into the environment. Like, because something like that, if you did that in Canada or the United States, there's a lot more stringent restrictions that would increase the cost of production.
Yeah.
How the hell are you going to compete with that?
I'm not competing at the low end, though. I'm going to compete at the high end, of course.
Right, so it's going to be
tailored. Yeah, it's going to be tailored. It's going to be custom fit.
Yeah.
High quality materials. Lifetime guarantees for clothing.
Okay, so that's what you would create.
That's what I would create. I can't compete in the low end market. There's no way I can compete with H&M, Uniqlo, any of these, even like Walmart, Superstore, they all have their own clothing lines. I can't compete with those companies. I don't have the supply chain to do it. So what am I going to do? Well, of course, I got to move into the high end. Right. I'm not going to compete in the middle because the middle is just, there's people that compete there and there's so many.
Well, that's where
and they're either going to move up into the high end or move down. And I don't want to do either of those things. So I want to stay at the high end.
So what kind of company, so if I were to give you an ideal company that would disrupt the fashion retail game, would disrupt H&M, would disrupt Uniqlo or Zara, what kind of company would that be?
I don't know. That's so tough.
Because you can't.
I don't think you can disrupt
unless there's a brand that is so disruptive that it encapsulates the world. Like,
but people want different things out of clothing.
Agreed.
Right? Because there's some people are price conscious, other people are brand conscious, and those are not necessarily at the same ends of the market.
Right. Like, you look at something like Tom's, and I find Tom's an amazing story. Blake McCoskey went to Argentina. He saw this opportunity to give kids shoes.
Shoes, yeah.
So he went back to his hometown. I think it was in LA. LA Times wrote about him, the People, then Time, then Vogue, then Teen Vogue, and then it just kind of escalated. Mm-hmm. And then now it's a global brand. It's like, there's nothing amazing about these shoes. They're just shitty shoes. I mean, but he's built an amazing brand around them.
It is an amazing brand, yes.
Because of the social aspect of it.
Yes, the charitable aspect.
In the product of clothing, is there innovation there? Because a shirt is a shirt. I mean, you can make a shirt, but it's not going to be like the greatest shirt in the world. I know Tim Ferriss has a shirt, doesn't wrinkle, blah, blah, blah.
Is it in Maine? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a shirt?
No, I don't have it. But I was actually sharing that shirt with other people, like my colleagues and my friends.
What do you mean you're sharing it?
As in I was telling them about it.
Okay.
And they were like, wow, this is an amazing shirt. Like, they have never heard of this kind of shirt before. No, I know. They've heard of wrinkle-free shirts.
Yeah.
But they're not wrinkle-free shirts.
Absolutely. No,
those shirts aren't wrinkle-free. And so they were skeptical about these Mizzen and Main shirts. And
I'm going to buy one of those shirts.
I think I do too. And I even said, that if you buy those shirts, I will guarantee that they won't wrinkle. Even though I've never purchased it, like I just believe so strongly for whatever reason in that brand. Maybe in Tim Ferriss, but
you haven't bought the shirt.
No,
yet.
I haven't even touched the shirt.
So because Tim Ferriss has endorsed this shirt, you're like, you believe in it.
Yes, but at the same time, he endorsed MeUndies, and I've heard someone say not good things about MeUndies. So
is it underwear?
It's underwear
that
yeah.
breathes?
No, it's that underwear that's like specially made out of Japanese cottonwood trees or whatever.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's some special. Oh, wow. Anyway,
okay. So what I'm saying is that the disruption in retail will happen in other places, whether it's the economic model, whether it's a brand or customer experience or product,
but not in the clothing. You're saying
it's not going to happen in the clothing. Well, I mean,
but there's things happening all the time.
If you could build me, because we live in a very cold environment, if you could build me a shirt that is stylish, that's thin, that I could wear out, that actually could that could adjust to a minus 40 temperature, and you'd actually feel amazing.
Yeah,
that would sell like hotcakes.
On Kickstarter, I was just looking at something yesterday. There's a vest that you can get. It's not a shirt, but it's a vest that heats up. And it's battery powered. It charges your smartphone.
I don't get vests. No?
You don't like vests?
Well, I love vests, but I don't get the heat thing on the vest because, what do you mean? Because your whole body is exposed to the vest.
No,
like your core arms.
But the core part of your body
is covered. Is that where most of the heat goes?
Well, that's where
your arms are not covered with the vest.
No, but if the core of your body is heated, right, the blood from the core of your body will.
By the way, Wang is topless right now. He's just undressing.
Yes.
She's describing this whole. Not joking.
You can see that I don't need a vest. I've got a hairy body, a hairy chest.
Right, you're Asian. You don't have any hair. Now I'm an Indian man. However,
yes,
I have been blessed or not blessed with no hair. Like, I have no hair. I'm hairless.
You have no hair.
I don't have any hair. Like, look at my arm. Like, I have no hair.
You have some hair.
I have some hair, but I'm like a baby. I'm like a smooth baby.
Do you have hair on your legs?
I have hair on my legs.
Okay, then.
But comparatively to other East Indian men,
yes.
I am a baby.
Okay.
So I just want to throw that out there, ladies.
Okay.
If you don't want a manly man, I'm married. But anyways, so listen, if I gave you a crystal ball, Wang Yip, of the dip, and I gave you the power to predict what the next 10 years of retail are going to look like, what will it look like?
I really think that the number of different clothing stores will decrease. There's going to be a few major stores. And I think they're either going to compete at the low end or the high end. There's going to be nothing in between. And what's going to be in between, I think, is going to be the online presence, the online stores. There's going to be, and you can even see it today, there's a lot of, like Amazon, for instance, has an online bookstore, huge, right? Now they're opening up a retail bookstore. Why? Why would they need to do that? So I think the same thing will happen. Companies will go online. They'll dominate the online space. I think these companies like Trunk Club, wherever, they'll send you clothing every month. It'll be tailored. It'll be custom fit to you. There's going to be a personal advisor that tells you what clothing looks good for you. You could return anything you don't like for free, right? You only pay for what you keep. And these stores in the mall will just be holding stores. They'll just be factories. They'll just have the clothing. If you feel like you want to pick it up, you go onto your phone, you pay for it through your phone, pick it up in the store, right? You can touch it, you can feel it, but it's not really a store for trying things on and experiencing it. Right. It's just to pick it up. Oh, hey, this is a red sweater. Does it fit? Great. Yes. It's mine. I purchased it.
One of my ideas that I had was, it was called the Play Store. So what I would do is, it would be a store, sort of like an Apple store. And then it's very high tech.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tablets, and you can like pick clothing. But it would be a store. It would be like the Walmart of online retailers. So you would have all the online retailers. So whether it's Poppy Barley or like Warby Parker, all the like purely online stores, you would give them a offline presence. And so you would have a store in the mall that would completely be dedicated to online retailers. And so they could come, they could try on clothes, because I still think, Wang Yip, that there is a mark that people still need to feel the clothing. That you cannot simply just go online. You need to feel it. And so they need an opportunity. Like there's a market for online retailers to have an offline presence. You see Warby Parker getting into this game where they have, stores across the United States. Mm-hmm. Online retailers they're seeing that they still need an offline presence.
I understand this idea. So there's almost this middleman store.
Yep, that's what it is. So it would facilitate the drop-offs. Like
yes.
You can pick it up.
Yes.
But it would still have samples of the clothing because you need to try it on.
You can't have samples of all the clothing, can you?
Not all of them, but like an inventory, like you can still have like the sizes, the fit. Do you know what I mean?
But like, how would you make money out of that? Like, how would you sell it?
Yes. So
because you can't compete with the online store because now you have physical retail costs.
So you would have to build partnerships with all these organizations, and it would be the model would be different. You don't make the clothing off. You don't make your money off the clothing. You make money off the commissions of the clothing, right? Mm. So people come into your store, they try it on, and then they go back. We give them the coupon code, and it's all linked that way. So the economic model would be different. Yeah, so that's my idea.
So that's your prediction for...
No, I don't know. Like, somebody can take that idea and run with it. Okay. No, what I think is going to happen is, like, maybe I'm thinking from a marketing standpoint, but we're going to be very personalized in how we market clothing to users. Like, we will know that Shawn Kanungo shops at Uniqlo. I will get very hyper-personalized posts on Instagram or whatever on Snapchat around the offerings, right? And
it's going to be like Minority Report. You walk into a store, they know exactly who you are, what you like, what you bought previously.
Absolutely.
And they recommend things 100%. For you.
It's already happening.
I think the biggest thing you're going to see in retail is mobile POS.
Okay.
So I think, like, you're going to have a lot of stores that are going to be able to do what, like, Apple does, which is people can check out maybe on their own phones, like the way that things are moving. So I think technology is going to play a huge role in your retail experience. In terms of like other players coming in, it's hard to say what trends will be around, but you've got certain trends like people being more eco-conscious about their fashion choices, which started like at least 15 years ago and it's still sticking around. I think in terms of like trends in like what people are going to look like, what the clothing's going to look like, hard to say because it's 10 years down the road, but the actual retail experience, I think technology is going to play a pretty big role in it. And I think that if you want someone to get out of their chair in the comfort of their home in front of their computer, you better make a damn good retail experience.
Right. And then what about this idea of having like hyper personalized marketing, right? You're on Kerry, you're on Instagram, and you're getting pushed something from Blues because we know you shop at Blues, and it's almost like you're building a one-on-one relationship with your customer.
Yeah, I think direct marketing is probably the best way that draws people in. Like I said, creating relationships. Customers want to feel special. So if you have if you have a technological app that makes a customer feel like the store really gets me, or this brand really gets me, or I identify with this brand, then I think you've got a customer for life until you're not able to satisfy that anymore.
There's power in that, and I think so. The marketing's gonna be hyper personalized. I think malls will still exist. I do not believe that they're going to disappear. I think they're still going to exist because people want a destination. They want an experience. They do. They want to go shopping.
But at the same time...
They want to go with their friends to go shopping. They do.
Okay. No, I understand.
I don't, and I'm not the market, but I see tons of people doing this.
I understand that, but what if in the future
you ever have
the experience is different?
Hold on. You ever have people over, like, to your place from another city? Or you go to some other city... I swear to God, I bet this was on Family Feud, and Steve Harvey was like, Name the top 5 things that people would say when you go to a new city. What can you do? In the top 5, people will always say the mall. Let's go to the mall.
No.
Yes, absolutely. People love going to malls.
What?
No matter where you are.
What do you mean?
You could go to Beirut. I mean, you could go to like Dubai and people want to go to the mall.
But if you go to like a small town, you wouldn't want to go to the mall, would
If you go to a small town, there's nothing there. So of course you want to go to the mall. There's nothing else to do but to go to the mall.
Well, maybe there's I don't know. I wouldn't want to go to the mall. Not in a small town, at
To be
least.
funny, you know what's funny? To almost every city that I've ever traveled,
Yes.
for some reason, and I'm not sure why, but I always end up in a mall. At some point. You know,
Are you going to a mall in Lebanon?
I'm going to Lebanon tomorrow.
Yeah.
I might end up in a mall.
Why?
I don't know. That's what happens.
I don't understand.
People just go into malls. Listen, maybe it's not a mall, but I'm saying a shopping complex. This idea of malls, I'm not so bullish on the mall. I'm
Yes.
saying shopping, like destinations where there's consolidated, where there's other stores around.
Okay.
That will always exist. People will always want to shop. Anyways, I'm so bullish on this, but whether it's a digital, they go to actually shop online, but they go somewhere to shop online instead of doing it. Like, I'm actually so bullish to say that people might do that because they want to go somewhere to go. What do people do? People still want to connect with other humans. They still want to be surrounded by other humans.
No, I don't think so.
Most people do. You are a guy that wants to. You're buying a standing desk, and people still do.
Well, the standing desk has nothing to do with my social.
No, it doesn't. It's just interesting that you bought a standing desk.
Is that weird?
No, it's not. My wife has a standing desk.
Okay, then.
No.
What you guys? Okay, so I've seen Instagram pictures or I think it was Instagram pictures. So you have a desk, and she has a desk, and I think you guys you're facing each other. Is that correct?
You know what? We just moved into a new place.
Oh, okay, now you're in.
And so we're side by side.
Now side by side.
Correct.
But she's standing and you're not.
Correct, yeah. Which represents the power dynamic in our household.
Why don't you have why don't you have a standing desk? You know, she must have asked you whether you
I wouldn't mind a standing desk.
Okay.
I don't know why I don't have a standing desk.
Okay.
I would like to stand.
Are you spending a lot of time sitting in your home?
I am. I feel that it's transformed my butt.
In what way?
I think my butt has become flatter because of the desk.
That's not good.
Chair.
I don't think.
I want a round, robust.
You want a
ton.
fat ass. Fat with pH.
I don't know if it's pH. So listen, to conclude here, Wang Yip, you're saying that online, like, people are just going to move online. Can I just conclude on that? That online's going to be massive, mobile's going to be massive for you. I still think that the shopping experience is going to be huge.
Yeah.
This was a great episode because we learned about your standing desk. We learned about, like, everything else about your life.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask a few more, one or two last questions.
Yes.
This trip to Lebanon, tell us about it.
Yeah, so
you're planning to go to Lebanon. Why?
Yeah, so what we're doing in Lebanon is we're meeting with some clients and also meeting with some of the partners that are at Deloitte to talk about the future of government, to talk about the future of technology, business models. You know, what I noticed is that a lot of people are not aware of what's happening around the world, like the amount of technological innovation, the amount of just disruption that's happening. And my job is to go and help educate some of these folks and to push the dip. So that's why I'm going. And I'm running a number of different sessions with them.
Okay.
I've turned into a pretty good, I would say, a facilitator. I would say that I'm a world-class facilitator.
World class.
Absolutely, yeah.
You spent 10,000 hours facilitating sessions.
I would say that I'm probably up there. Or, 10,000 hours and then, of course, prepping for the sessions as well.
Okay.
So I think I've got to the point where I'm pretty good.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at it.
Now, once you have free time in Lebanon, aside from going to a shopping mall,
Right.
what else are you going to do?
It's a good question because, a lot of people have told me about these safety concerns in Lebanon.
Have you done some research onto, the food that you want to eat or the places that you want to visit?
I'm sort of like, I fly by the seat of my pants.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
I love when I go to a new city, I just love just getting there and just and talking to people and finding out what's good. Because, you can read everything in the books and like Lonely Planet, but I do a little bit of research, but I just want to like explore a little bit. I know it's dangerous, so I want to be safe.
Yeah.
And it's not that dangerous. I mean, people overhype it, but I don't want to push it by any means.
Yes.
So that's what's happening.
Okay.
That's what's happening. So what else is happening with you this weekend? What's going on?
This weekend, what am I up to? My friend is participating in a Toastmasters contest. I'm going out to support him. So I'll just be there to cheer him on. And then I helped facilitate a session for your wife. So we're gonna.
I heard about that. I heard it went really well.
Yeah. It did go really well, and we're going to have a debrief on that session on Sunday.
Okay, so you're helping your friend with a Toastmasters.
Yeah, he's competing in the contest. Yeah.
What is a contest?
Well, the contest
is for like the best Toastmaster in the world.
No, it's for.
But there is that.
There is,
and that person is crowned the best speaker in the planet.
So there are. So in the fall and in the spring, there's 4 contests. So there's 2 contests each. In the fall, we just had table topics, which are just impromptu speaking, and then humorous speech contest. And my friend has won at the club level. Okay. And then if you win at the club level, you move up to the area. And he won at the area level. So he's now moving up to the division. And if he wins the division level, then he moves into the district. And the district, I believe, is the highest that you can get to.
What about this international speaking competition?
So the international one is in the spring. So in the spring, there's an international speech contest and then the evaluation contest where you evaluate a speech. And the international speech contest, it's the same thing. You win at the club, you go to the area to the division to the district. But if you win at the district, then you move on into the world competition. And if you win at the world competitions, then you are crowned the world's best speaker.
So when you become the world's best speaker,
yes,
what can you do after that?
Anything. You can do anything. You can go rob a bank.
Like, what benefit does it have to be the best speaker?
I mean, I'm not the world's best speaker. I've never won the award. I haven't competed.
Well, you've written 5 books, probably more than the world's best speaker.
Possibly. But some of the world's best speakers that I've seen, they've gone on to lucrative public speaking careers where they just deliver speeches, keynotes, things like that for conferences. Some of them have gone on to write books. So they'll write about their technique or their strategy or how they deliver a speech about public speaking or about other things. And they'll leverage that the world's best speaker title in order to market themselves.
Tell me who the best speaker in the world is.
Right now?
Yeah, pound for pound, like as if it was like a heavyweight championship.
I'm not sure who it is right now because someone recently won it, and I can't remember who it is.
No, I'm just saying, like, who, like, of people that people would know, somebody that people would know, like, who's the best speaker?
I just think that Tony Robbins is a phenomenal speaker.
But he has advantage because his voice is amazing.
Yes.
He's got a very low voice.
But he's also got a tremendous presence on stage.
Yeah, and he's also huge.
Yes. Well, the presence. But
he's actually physically...
No, I know he is. No, I know he is physically massive, but I'm saying that if he was a dwarf, if he was physically small, he would still have the same presence.
Yeah. Now, have you seen Gary Vaynerchuk?
Yes.
He's, like, obviously, as a speaker, he's not the best speaker.
Not polished.
He's not polished.
Professional.
In any way. Right. He's not polished.
But his message and his story.
He's so raw. Yeah. And he's so just, he doesn't care. And, like, he's just so transparent that, like, I love watching him. Like, I would watch him all day.
Right. I know I gifted you a book.
Choose Yourself.
Yes. What did you think about that?
So I'm on page, like, 130. I read books very slowly.
Okay.
I love Choose Yourself.
Really?
Why? It's funny because I've been
You've been busting my balls about James Altucher.
No, I've been busting your balls about the phrase "choose yourself" because
You don't like the phrase.
Yeah, I don't like this phrase. Well, I didn't read the book.
Okay.
And then James Altucher, I was busting your balls over that. But I've only read James Altucher's podcast. I mean, I listen to his podcast, and then I also read his blogs.
Okay.
His blog, more LinkedIn articles, or you have an article in TechCrunch, and it's always like brilliant,
yes,
right? It's just so like honest.
Yeah.
And this book is just, it's so easy and it's so honest and it's so transparent. He's so self-deprecating.
Yes.
It's just so, yeah, it's so honest to read. I love it. It's amazing.
Have you got to the part where he talks about his daily practice?
I do, yeah.
And the idea machine and everything like that?
Writing down the ideas, yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think listen, I'm bad. Like, I read a lot of books. I don't practice everything. I think it's a great idea.
But you always have ideas, though.
I do have ideas, but you need to execute. That's the game. You can come up with ideas, but I think James Altucher probably makes him who he is today because of his daily practices. I think daily practices are very important. I need to be better at it. That should be my goal, is to be better at my daily practices. But Choose Yourself is an amazing book. I just got another book called Leadership BS.
Okay.
By Jeffrey Pfeffer.
Okay.
He's a professor at Stanford, and what he talks about is that I haven't read any of the book yet, so I'm just really excited about it because I heard an interview on a podcast with This Week in Startups with Jason Calacanis, which that's like one of my favorite podcasts.
Right.
And he was talking to him, and they were talking about this whole leadership industry and how we've built this like mythology around these leaders, like, oh my God, Steve Jobs, Abraham Lincoln, Jeff Bezos, blah blah. But the truth of the matter is that they're assholes. They lie, and you know what? To be honest, to be a leader, you have to be a good liar.
Yeah.
And he just breaks it down honestly. Like, we always put these guys on a pedestal, but to be honest, and that's what you need to succeed. You might need to lie. You might need to be an asshole. You might have to create this reality distortion field. And
interesting.
So I'm really interested in reading this book because I just met with somebody and they were talking about Alison Redford, the premier.
Yes. And
how much of I hope she's not listening to this, but how much of a egomaniac she became during her tenure as a premier. Like, she would get like she would demand like police officers to wherever she was going, she would get people to scout out food locations before she went to a particular city. Like, she's not the Pope. She's the premier of Alberta. Like, for God's sakes, Justin Trudeau just won he just got elected. Yeah. And he goes to the Montreal train station, just shakes people's hands. Yeah. Like, if I became prime minister, I assure you, I will not get an entourage. I don't need police officers. Ain't nobody gonna kill. I'm Canadian. Ain't nobody gonna kill me in Canada. I promise you. And if you were the premier of Alberta, you do not need security. I'm sorry, you do not need security. There's no one going to assassinate you. That's not an assassination. If you kill the premier of Alberta, that's not an assassination. What? That is just a homicide number 78. Okay?
Oh my gosh.
It's not assassination.
I don't know how I feel about this.
The Pope is an assassination.
How important do you have to be assassinated?
That's what I mean. How I think.
So you're saying premier is not important.
I think Chris Rock puts it best. He talks about about Tupac and Biggie. He was said, like, in the black community, they say that these two guys were assassinated. Oh, Pac was assassinated.
Okay.
What he says is that he's like, I don't know what he says, but he says they weren't assassinated. These motherfuckers were killed, or something like that. He might drop the N-word. I didn't want to drop it, but
okay.
That's what he says.
But I think Tupac and Biggie are both huge.
But they're not assassinated.
No.
Like, I don't know when you can use assassination.
President.
Fine.
Right.
Respect. You can use the assassination.
But not prime minister? Or yes, prime minister?
Depends what country.
Canada.
Fine. Prime minister, fine. Assassinated.
Okay.
Premier, pushing it. Mayor, pushing it. Like,
management consultant.
That won't even show up in the homicide, list, my friend. No, you gotta keep assassinated for, if Michael Jordan dies, for God forbid, if he's killed, he's not gonna get assassinated. He's an amazing figure.
Yes.
He's one of the greatest athletes of all time. But he's not assassinated.
No.
He got murdered. Okay, can we, this should be a question of the day. When should you use assassinate? Anyways, Wang, this was fun.
Shawn, always a pleasure. What can our listeners do to help us with the podcast?
Couple things. You need to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, you need to subscribe. I will, if you tell me, if you actually Twitter me, if you tweet me at Shawn Kanungo, and you tell me that you subscribe to The Dip, I will literally send you a personalized video thanking you on Twitter, telling you thank you for subscribing.
Wow. That's incredible.
What would you do for a subscription?
That's a good question. I'll definitely reply back.
All right, thanks, Wang.
Okay, thanks, Shawn.